Hey, what's up, coaches? Welcome to our instructor training program. Wanted to shoot this quick video to go over some of the most important things, top 15 things here that you can do to run a successful class. We'll fly through these and use this as a launching pad or just to reference, print this out for you to have in the academy as well to help you actually run a class, but I want to go over this with you here. Hey, so number one is prep the room. Arrive 15 minutes early, ideally. Class starts at 3:45 for our slingshot program, and doors open at 3:30. So arrive by 3:30. Again, 15 minutes early. Make sure the music is on. The vibe of the room is upbeat. Music's not too loud. Usually Brad handles that, does a great job with that. But if you have a preference as the instructor for the day and you want to turn the music up or down, or you want to change the song, let Brad know and we'll make that happen. Clean music, no profanity, no swearing, nothing too crazy. Try to stick to something that is going to set the mood. If the kids are very energetic, maybe you want to calm it down a little bit. If you're noticing, hey, things are kind of stale right now and you want something a little bit more upbeat, feel free to change that. We have it on the iPad for you to use. Next up here is make sure the mats are clean. Do a quick scan of the mats. If you notice a bunch of hair, any debris, any leftover trash or whatever, it's your job as instructor to make sure the mats are clean before class. Again, we do have students that stick around from the class before to clean up the mats, and Brad also oversees that process, so the mats should be clean 99% of the time. But again, it's your job to make sure right before class starts the mats are clean. Again, that gives off the vibe that we care about the environment of the academy and making sure we have a high standard, again, of cleanliness. That's just going to trickle down to the rest of our students. So number one, again, prep the room. Number two, greet each student by name upon entering within 10 seconds ideally. Hey, what's up, Brixton? How are you? Jesus, good to see ya. Lily, thanks for coming. Hayden, how was your day? All right, start engaging with some of the students. High fives, hugs, greetings on their way in, making sure everybody feels like we know them. And best way to do that is just to remember their name. I always say the biggest compliment you can give somebody is to remember their name. So do your best as an instructor, coach, and leader of the academy to make it a priority to remember people's names. Number three, introduce new students to existing ones. A lot of times, I do my best job to try and make sure the students feel comfortable with me, but I also want them feeling comfortable with their peers. So for example, hey Kale, did you meet Nadia today? Hey Caleb, can you go over there and introduce yourself to Keon? Start calling out some of the senior students who've been there for a little bit and asking them to take initiative to go up and introduce themselves. And if they feel awkward doing that, as sometimes kids do, hey, come over here. You walk them over, have them high-five each other, but make sure they at least find one or two people that they're able to connect with. But ideally, we're able to introduce them to everybody. And also, if you feel led, I try to do this at the beginning of class too. Hey, guys, just want to welcome, Chloe, our newest student, to class today. Everybody say hi, Chloe, and everybody says hi, Chloe. All right, just to make sure, again, we're setting that tone and making sure our new students feel warm and welcome. Next up, number four, make any important announcements. So if any upcoming tournaments are happening, if there's any family beach days or anything, any need to knows, I found it's best to do before and after class, just so we have multiple touch points on that to help them remember. And it's always helpful to double down on the texts and emails that we already send out to our parents, but making sure the students also know the announcements as well. Number five, tell the class what you'll be covering for that day. That shows that you're prepared and confident. I always like to say, this is a famous John Maxwell quote, but when the leader lacks confidence, the followers lack commitment. And so if we don't quite know what we're sharing for that day, a lot of times we don't feel confident, and students pick up on that. They know that we're not prepared. They know that we're winging it, and we want to make sure that we come to every class prepared with something to show. I wrote down here, use the board to reference warm-up, line drills, partner drills, submission drills, and sequences. Even if you don't have something necessarily that you created to bring to the table for class, reference the board, please. And again, For now, we want all of our instructors just everything back to the board, back to the board, back to the board. We've found that students really gravitate towards that, and then they're pointing to the board and saying, hey, I know that, or hey, coach, what is that? And having the board and that visual is just a great way to keep students accountable to what we're going to teach them, what we have taught them, and to double down on what we really want them to know. So please use the board, follow it. Again, in that order. Warm-up should take about 5 minutes to 7 minutes on average. Line drills usually take about 5 minutes. Partner drills, submission drills, and sequences. I have 5 sequences up on the board for the month. I'll try to rotate those out every 5 new sequences every month for you to use. But again, feel prepared so that way you're looking at the board ahead of class. You already have an idea of what you're going to teach for that day. Again, I don't expect you to show up to class with something new, but I do expect our instructors to have an idea of what they're teaching off the board. We want to stick to that curriculum. I'm a big believer in TNN, teach nothing new. We have our curriculum, which is kind of our core techniques and movements that we want the students to master, especially from 0 to 6 months in their development, which is brand spanking new, first day walking in the academy, to 6 months in, which is where they earn their gray-white belt, their first belt change. Okay, so number 6, bow in. As we formally bow in, I always like to say 2 things to really set the tone, and I'll say, all right, guys, are you guys ready to have fun today? And I smile, and I make sure I end on a high note. And then I'm waiting for that, yeah. And if I don't get that, I say, that didn't sound too convincing, guys. Are you guys ready to have fun today? And I'll say it back to them, yeah. I want to set the tone for, hey, we're here to have fun. Overall philosophy is not ramming technique down their throat, but rather inspiring them to fall in love with jiu-jitsu, sharing our passion with them so that way they want to be there. And when they want to be there, they're consistent. And when they're consistent, it's only a natural byproduct for them to get better and to improve in both character and obviously technical abilities on the mat. So lead with high energy. And then again, hey guys, you guys ready to have fun today? That's the first question. The second thing I always like to ask, are you guys ready to give your best effort today? Or are you guys ready to work hard today? Okay, I found that saying those 2 things, again, I won't let the class start. I won't ball the class in until I get a resounding yes from all the students. I'll look around, make sure I have eye contact with some of the ones who look a little bit iffy. All right, Kale, you ready to have a good time today, bud? You ready to have fun? You ready to work hard? All right. And if I don't get the answer that I want, I don't start class. I say, all right, guys, doesn't sound like we're ready to start. Okay, and I'll have them do it again. Otherwise, if it's just 1 or 2 kids that I really want to address, maybe I'll pull them on the side and say, hey, bud, I don't think you're ready for class yet. Why don't you sit on the side and let me know when you're ready? I'll sit them on the side and I'll come back to them and revisit the topic once, give them a little bit of time. Maybe they're having a bad day from school. Maybe they're just a little low energy. They didn't get much sleep the night before. Maybe they didn't eat. Whatever the case may be. Sometimes I'll just have kids sit on the side. Hey, you ready to come in yet? And when I reinsert them back into class, it's not, hey, do you want to come back in? It's like, hey, you ready to come back in? You ready to have fun? Right? And we always try to lead students back into the mix, even if they're injured. Maybe they say they have a stomach ache or a headache. I have tons of kids tell me, oh, my head hurts. And 98% of the time, they don't actually have a headache. They're just not into it. They just don't want to be there during that time, or maybe the training's a little bit too strenuous for them at the time. Again, we'll sit them off to the side, give them a few minutes to gather their thoughts, catch their breath, and then, hey, you ready to come back in? And try to get them to come back in. Anyways, I know I took a little segue there, but that's number 6 rather. If students are late to class, make them wait on the side. Students should have that expectation that their belts are tied, their gis are on upon entering the academy, but they wait on the side of the mat for an instructor to come and bow them in. So if the students try to sneak in and walk on the mats, whoa, hang on, guys. All right, back to the edge of the mats. Go wait for me until I'm ready to bow you in. And then always making sure we say the same things to the students when they come in. Hey, what's up, Estrella? Good to see ya. Thanks for coming. You ready to have a good time? You ready to work hard? Awesome. Let's bow in. 1, 2, 3. Bow them in. And if they're late, we'll have them join with the rest of the class. Okay, next one, number 7 here. Pair up new students with more experienced students. I'll leave that to your discretion or your own individual wisdom. Sometimes I found that it's best to put new students with more experienced students. And sometimes, I just like to have the new students, if they're like today, I had two brand new girls. I just said, hey, you guys are going to go together. And, they made a new buddy. They both knew there was their day one. And so they clicked and it went well. And that way allowed me during some of the off times to kind of check in on both of them together since they're working together already. So use your own discretion or judgment on that. But when necessary, try to partner up some of the kids who maybe lack a little bit of focus, sometimes with the kids that have a little bit more focus. Sometimes that'll kind of spur them on to get more focus. Or if it doesn't seem like it's working out, and instead of the student who's focused elevating the other student's game, it feels like the student who's not focused is pulling the other person down, then maybe find them a new partner. But try to make sure we partner or pair our students up as best as possible. That's going to take experience. It's going to take knowing some of the kids, but our job as instructors is to facilitate them having the best experience for that day. So try to do your best job pairing up the students. Number 8, use a timer. And the reason why I'm a big believer in a timer is I want the class to be punchy. I want the class to run on time and smoothly. And we got a lot to get through in the hour-and-a-half class. I want to get the most out of it. But I notice when the timer is on, things just feel a little bit tighter. It feels like we're there to train, we're there to work out versus having a casual hangout conversation, which sometimes it feels like when there's too much dead space and there's not strict time. And so kids do really well with the timer, I've noticed. So use the timer during the back-to-back rounds, the live rolls, the partner drills. Again, use that and say, hey guys, all right, ready, set, go. And then boom, timer goes off. They're drilling hard. Hey, go all the way through the time. I would like to do that instead of saying, hey, do 3 reps each. Some kids do 3 reps in 30 seconds. Other kids take 2 minutes to do 3 reps. But no, I want everybody drilling for a specific amount of time, usually 2 minutes, 3 minutes if they're doing new techniques. And again, use your discretion or your judgment on that. But I want you guys using the timer. That way it keeps the energy high, keeps the students locked in and focused. Next one. And on that same note, guys, if you're having a hard time getting someone's attention, you feel like they're drifting, they're talking a little bit too much, always say, all right, guys, let's bring it in, 1, 2, 3, and I have everybody reclap. All right, guys, we're going to be going over single leg. Oh, I didn't get your guys' attention, 1, 2, 3. Have them reclap again, and then sometimes I'll just clap, and I'll put my finger up to my mouth, and I'll go dead silent until the kids stop and listen. And if they're still talking, I'll say, who's talking while I'm talking? And usually all the kids will point to the 1 or 2 kids that are still talking, and then I'll address that student. Hey, Raiden, okay, what should you be doing right now while coach is talking? All right, I like to lead through questions instead of saying, Raiden, be quiet. Hey, Raiden, what should you be doing right now while coach is talking? All right, you let them tell you the answer. Oh, I should be listening. Okay, good job, Raiden. High five. Let's listen, bud. Okay, yeah, again, if you need to grab their attention, 1, 2, 3, bring it back in. Clapping always helps them kind of refocus. Next one, number 9, demonstrate techniques, no more than 2 techniques at a time. Try not to overwhelm them. Again, we have all the curriculum laid out on the board. And not spending too much time, not over teaching. A lot of times we, and myself included, I feel inclined to show an extra detail or, explain the whys. And at this age level from 7 to 12, the majority of the kids from 0 to 6 months experience, they're not going to catch on right away. It takes the instructor walking around, physically grabbing their hand and moving into the right spots and explaining it to them for them to really grasp it. Some of the students aren't paying attention. Some of those who are, they just haven't comprehended it yet. Again, this is geared towards our slingshot program, ages 7 to 12. So show 2 techniques at a time at most, and then try not to go too deep in the details. I usually like to stick to 3 steps. So if I'm teaching a scissor sweep, for example, shrimp, knee shield, leg scissors. Shrimp, knee shield, leg scissors. I'm trying to turn that into a mantra so that after I show it, all right, guys, let's try it out. 1, 2, 3. Set the timer. They start going, and I can address the whole class from even across the mat. All right, guys, scissor sweep, shrimp, knee shield, leg scissors, shrimp, knee shield, leg scissors. Very helpful when you're able to boil it down into the simplest form for the students to grasp. But again, my philosophy is not spending too much time on the teaching portion, because we're still, no matter how great of a teacher we are, we're still going to have to go around and we're still going to have to re-explain it to some of the students who need help, and they still need that guidance for us to physically walk them through it. So don't go too deep on the technique. Keep it simple. Keep it 3 steps, and try to turn it into a mantra if you can. Okay, number 10, next, call out students by name 2 times for something good. I like to do this a lot during the line drills. All right, good job, Hayden. Nice roll, Emmy. Right, way to tuck your chin on that back break fall. You know, I try to point out something specific that I liked. Junior, dude, really good pressure right there, bud. You know, really good head position. I'm trying to make sure that, one, I'm saying their name constantly during class because I want them feeling connected to us. And 2, I want them to realize, hey, coach sees you, right? And students want to be seen, and they want to be, noticed for their hard work. And so try to point out the good things that they're doing. Next one here, give each student 2 correctional cues so they feel like they're getting their money's worth. A lot of parents are paying for coaching, and they want us to be able to give their child feedback. When the students are new, first class, second class, it's pretty much 100% praise. But as they start to get, a little bit more comfortable, more experience, it's more like 90% praise, 10% correction, or I wrote down here 98% praise. For the newer students who are still kind of working their way through. You notice maybe they haven't caught on a lot. We got to build their confidence up. I don't want them feeling like they're not doing a good job. So I'll really build up the things they're doing well, and then just sprinkle in a small nugget here and there of what they can work on a little bit better. So, hey, bud, hey, I really like how you're grabbing the collar. Let's just grab a little bit higher. Let's slide your hand up right here. Again, I'll actually grab their hand and even try to slide it up, but feel free to add in a few correctional cues, but the model is generally 90% praise, 10% correction for the students who've been there maybe 6 months or longer, and the ones who are newer, 98% praise, 2% correction. Again, as they fall in love with jiu-jitsu, they want to be there, they'll remain more consistent, they'll show up to more classes, and that's our opportunity for us to really help them grow on the technical side. So when they're new, again, I try not to stress about it, and I don't want you as the instructor to stress about it either. Okay, number 12, at the end of the class, recognize or highlight 2 students for doing something that you really liked. Again, John Maxwell is famous for saying what gets praised gets repeated. Okay, so I say, hey, heads up, guys, I just wanted to highlight Aliana today. Man, Aliana, she was amazing. She had her belt tied. She stood up straight on the wall. She waited for coach while coach was, gathering the rest of the class, and she led by example, and I love that. Aliana, high five. Amazing, sweetie. And the other kids kind of look around and go, oh, that's cool. Coach noticed that. I want to be that kid. All right, but we're leading through praise. And it could be, again, a behavior. It could be a character. It could be a technical skill, right? Hey, I really love how Triton, again, even though he got sprawled on, he kept chasing that double leg. Great job, Triton. Okay, that could be a technical example, right? Or Caden, I really like how even though you went with somebody bigger and, it looked like you're a little intimidated, man, you still got out there and you still did a really good job. And I'm really proud of you, bud. Okay, so don't be afraid to call the kids out for something you saw really well, shine a light on them, and praise them for something. Again, what gets praised gets repeated, and that's the culture we want to create, and making sure we just keep shining a light on the behaviors, the attitudes, the mindsets, the character that we want them to repeat. All right, next one here. You can also, at the end of class, one thing I've been doing that's been working really well is ask them to share one thing they learned. The kids are so excited to tell me or to share with the class one thing they learned. Okay, hey guys, who wants to share one thing they learned? Like more than half the room raises their hand. And what I've noticed during this time is the students will actually go up to the board again. This is why the board is so important. They'll point to the board and they'll say, oh, I know this one. Right? And some of them can't even read yet, but they're just excited to point to the board. And they're like, oh, this one over here. I'm like, which one, bud? Oh, breakdance. Oh, okay, show us breakdance. Oh, good, high five. And sometimes they're excited just to teach us. Maybe they don't know the name of it. Maybe they don't even know how to do it correctly. That's okay. Build them up. Let them do it correctly in front of the class, and give them a one clap or give them a nice round of applause for volunteering. But it's kind of our way of quizzing them at the end of the class and also building that culture for celebrating their small victory. So that's another great thing we can do at the end of the class. Again, you don't have to do it every class, but I love sprinkling that in, especially if you're not ending with a game. Sometimes we'll end class the last 10, 15 minutes with a game if they train hard. Again, if the kids are not training hard, you didn't feel like they deserve to play a game at the end of class, don't let them play a game at the end of class. Playing the game at the end of class should be a privilege. It should be something they feel like they had to earn. But again, we like doing that because, a lot of the kids are still new, and Sometimes they just look forward to the games. And so whether it's dodge belt, whether it's sharks and minnows, today I did an instructor's challenge where they challenged me to take me down, like that. Turn that into a game, whatever you feel like a game is. It could be tug of war, something fun. Keep it safe. Reward them for working hard. End the class on a high note. That's kind of why we do games. But anyways, next one here, number 13. Repeat any announcements that you may need. Pass around clipboards or flyers if we're trying to, drum up registration or anything like that. We haven't quite had to do that yet, but we are looking to do summer camps possibly soon. So again, after class is a great time to make the same announcement you did at the beginning of class, and also any promotions. Number 14 here. Please let Professor Garrett or myself know if you feel any student should be promoted. We do our best job to gauge it based on, again, 3 things we always bring it back to for the kids when it comes to promoted. Most of the kids know this by now. Want you as an instructor to know this too, so that you can continue to kind of preach it to them. But I say, hey guys, what do promotions come back to? It's usually 3 things. Okay, it's attendance. Okay, it's your technical abilities, meaning you're catching on to some of the things we're showing you. And number 3, what is it? And I'll kind of point to the head or point to the heart. Right? It's your character. It's your attitude. And you guys are going to get promoted based on those 3 things. If you didn't get promoted today, all right, hang in there. Your time will come, but it's usually based on those 3 things. Either you didn't come up to enough classes, or we're still wanting to see you improve technically, okay, or it's something with your attitude. And if it's a specific kid in a specific instance, please bring it to my attention or bring it to their attention, so that way we can continue to work on them. And I did that with a couple of students where one of the siblings got their red stripe, and I purposely held the other 2 off, and I told them after class, hey, I want to see you guys show up to class, right, with a little bit more focus. I want to see you guys tie your belt. I don't want to see you running in the hallways. I want to see you walking, and I want to see you paying attention while coach is talking. If you can do that, all right, keep it up, your promotion will come. Okay, but again, coming back to the 3 things, attendance, technical abilities, and attitude. And if you feel like the students are excelling and they should be promoted, please let us know, but leave the promotions to the instructors, so that way we can promote them. And on a side note, Coach Mike has been doing an amazing job, and we want all of our instructors to do this, same as Coach Marco and even Coach Jeff, to build up the professors. So hey, professor does this really well, professor does that really well. Just saying professor over and over really helps, maintain that level of authority and credibility. So when we do walk into the room, it's, oh my gosh, professor's here, and we want to have that level of respect with the kids. And we appreciate you guys for kind of supporting that and coming underneath us to push us up. And we do the same as professors to the coaches. We want to speak very highly of you guys to the kids. But a lot of times our coaches can be the bridge between the students and the professors sometimes when maybe they feel intimidated with us. But you can kind of help us bridge that gap. And a lot of them are going to fall in love with you guys. And so we're excited for them to develop relationships with you guys. I've heard Brickson say, I think at times, hey, Coach Mike, he's my favorite. I love hearing that. That's amazing. Okay, so we want to, have you guys build us up through your words, and we're going to build you guys up as well, just creating that culture where we're all edifying each other through our language. Okay, and last but not least, at the very end, after the promotions, after maybe a takeaway or a lesson or a spiel, whatever you want to end class with, again, I like to come back to what they did well, highlighting behavior, the announcements and so forth, and then we're finally ready to bow out. We try to bow out right at 5:15. Okay, guys, thanks for coming out. Let's bow out. 1, 2, 3. We all bow out. We get into line. We do a high five train where they high five us, and then they wait in line to high five each other. And then on their way out, they grab their slippers, their shoes, and their water and so forth. And then they have a great night from there. So that's pretty much it, guys, as far as running a successful class. We do have several videos that will be available to you right after this, breaking down the line drills, breaking down the warm-ups, the partner drills, the sequences, and so forth. So stay tuned for those videos, which will go more in depth to the actual kind of nitty-gritty stuff on the individual techniques and so forth, and how you guys can be effective, teaching it. But anyways, thanks for watching this video. We'll print this out so you have it in the academy to reference. We'll put it up on the board for you to reference and just have it be a tool for you to do a outstanding job as an instructor. Again, appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. Really appreciate you being on our coaching staff and continuing to build DVG. And again, our mission statement to inspire others through jiu-jitsu to be devoted to virtuous growth, being people who are committed and passionate about something, being virtuous, people of good character, making an impact in society on and off the mat, and then obviously growing both on and off the mat as well. So let's try to uphold that culture. Again, I appreciate you guys being a part of this. Looking forward to building with you, and we'll see you in the next video.